The question came during advanced combat theory, and it caught everyone off guard. Cadet Zrithkal, a towering Velxian with crystalline exoskeleton that refracted the classroom's pale light into rainbow fragments, raised one of his 4 articulated limbs. Professor Dion Mora, a seasoned Cathren military instructor whose tenure spanned 3 galactic conflicts, nodded acknowledgement. Professor, Zrithikal's translator rendered his chittering speech into flat galactic standard. I must inquire about the human cadets. Their performance metrics are anomalous. In the back row, Lisa Chen and Max Rodriguez exchanged glances. They were the only 2 humans in the Interstellar Defense Academy's current cohort, having arrived from Earth just 6 months prior as part of humanity's recent integration into the Galactic Coalition. Elaborate. Cadet, Dion Mora's tentacles curled with interest. The humans consistently outperform expectations in adaptive problem-solving scenarios. Their reaction times during the zero-G combat simulations exceed what their physiology should permit. Yesterday, Cadet Rodriguez completed the survival course in conditions that would incapacitate most species, including mine. Zrithkal's optical sensors swiveled toward Max. How do humans train for such versatility? What specialized military conditioning does your species undergo before academy enrollment? The classroom fell silent. 53 beings from 22 different species waited for the answer. Max scratched the back of his head, a gesture that made several aliens lean forward with fascination. Train? I mean, we just grew up? That's pretty much it. Impossible, interjected Cadet Sylphan, a gaseous arid contained within an environmental suit. The complexity of scenarios you navigate requires years of deliberate preparation. The arid young spend 2 decades in controlled simulation environments before achieving basic competency. Lisa raised her hand. Permission to explain, Professor? John Mora's bioluminescent patches pulsed with curiosity. Granted. Okay, so? Lisa stood, her mind racing through how to explain human childhood to beings who had never experienced anything like it. On Earth, we don't really have a formal training program. We just grow up, and growing up on Earth is kind of insane when you think about it. Insane how? Zrithkal pressed. Max jumped in. Well, for starters, human kids are basically helpless when they're born. Can't walk, can't feed themselves, can't do anything. We're born premature compared to most species because our brains are so big. So we have to learn everything. All species undergo development, Sylphan countered. Yeah, but how? Lisa leaned against her desk. See, human parents don't raise kids in safe, controlled environments. We let them explore. Constantly. My mom used to say I gave her a heart attack twice a week. She pulled up her data pad, projecting images into the holographic display at the classroom center. This is me at age 4. The image showed a tiny Lisa, scraped knees visible, grinning while hanging upside down from a metal structure. That's a playground. We built these things specifically so kids could climb, fall, swing, and basically learn physics through trial and error. You intentionally create falling hazards for your young? Aquiloc's cadet's mouthparts trembled with horror. Oh, that's nothing, Max laughed. Show them organized sports. Lisa swiped through images. This is called soccer. Kids chase a ball around a field, running at full speed, colliding with each other. This is American football. Actually, maybe we skip that one. It looks worse than it is. This is hockey played on ice. Kids strap blades to their feet and blades? Multiple cadets exclaimed simultaneously. It gets better, Max grinned. Lisa, show them bicycles. The next image made the Velxian cadet recoil. You balance your young on 2-wheeled devices with no stabilization system and release them at velocity. Usually on concrete or asphalt, Lisa confirmed. I broke my arm twice learning to ride. Max, 3 times, plus a collarbone. Professor Dion Mora's tentacles had gone rigid. And this is standard? Completely normal, Max confirmed. But that's just physical stuff. The cognitive training is just as intense. Human kids are basically running constant problem-solving simulations from the moment they can think. Lisa nodded enthusiastically. My parents would give me puzzles, building blocks, and strategy games. By age 7, I was playing chess against adults. When I got bored, I'd take apart electronics to see how they worked. Did you have supervision during this taking apart process? Zrithkal asked. Sometimes. My dad showed me which wires could electrocute me, then pretty much left me to figure out the rest. The classroom had descended into stunned silence. Max continued. And that's not even touching on the social training. Human kids are thrown into schools with dozens, sometimes hundreds of other kids. Different personalities, different backgrounds, different thinking styles. We had to learn negotiation, conflict resolution, alliance building, all before age 10. Plus, Lisa added, humans are exposed to millions of different scenarios through stories. Books, movies, games, we consume fiction constantly, running mental simulations of everything from dragon attacks to zombie apocalypses to space exploration. By the time we're adults, we've mentally rehearsed thousands of scenarios we'll never actually encounter. This is beginning to make disturbing sense, Professor Dianmora said slowly. The adaptability we observe in humans isn't the result of military training. It's a byproduct of your species' chaotic developmental period. We call it childhood, Max said. And yeah, it's basically 20 years of surviving on a death world while learning every skill simultaneously through a combination of exploration, failure, play, and imagination. Zrithkal's exoskeleton had shifted to a dark blue. A color Lisa had learned indicated deep contemplation. On Velxia, our young are kept in safe crystalline chambers, fed curated information through neural interfaces, and gradually introduced to controlled scenarios over 40 years of development. We believed this was the optimal approach. Different strategies, Lisa said diplomatically. Earth's way is messy and dangerous, but it produces generalists who can adapt quickly. Too quickly, Sylphan muttered. This explains why humans excel in the Academy's chaos scenarios. You're not rising to the challenge, you're returning to familiar conditions. Max laughed. You know what? That's actually pretty accurate. Compared to human childhood, military academy is kind of structured and safe. The classroom erupted into a cacophony of translators as cadets debated this revelation. Professor Dianmora raised a tentacle for silence. This discussion has been enlightening, the professor said. It appears the Galactic Coalition has much to learn about human development. Perhaps there is wisdom in controlled chaos after all. As the class filed out, Zrithkal approached the two humans. I must ask, would you consider human childhood an effective training program to be replicated? Lisa and Max exchanged looks, then simultaneously shook their heads. Absolutely not, Lisa said firmly. It works for humans because we evolved for it, Max explained. Our whole species is built around learning through controlled disaster. I wouldn't recommend it for anyone else. Although, Lisa grinned, if you ever want to try a human playground, we could arrange something. Zrithkal's exoskeleton flashed through several colors before settling on bright yellow, which the translation guide indicated was approximately equivalent to nervous. Laughter. Perhaps, he said carefully. I will observe first. As they walked toward the cafeteria, Max nudged Lisa. Think we should tell them about summer camp? Let's not give them nightmares, Lisa replied. They're not ready for the wilderness survival stories yet. Behind them, Professor Dianmora began drafting a report to the Coalition High Command titled Reassessment of Human Integration Protocols. Why Humanity's Childhood May be the most effective military training program in the galaxy. The end.